Minute. Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, today we're going to be talking about browser extensions and data collection, and this is a supporter stream. So if you are a supporter on Patreon or Think Life Media, you can take a look at the latest post on those and get the link. And we are joined with Ben right now because Vince went to the zoo and Dan has a contractor fixing his roof, and Quint's been back and forth at somewhere else doing something else that he can only be back to the office on Fridays and stuff. So, and I don't know where Jesse is, probably up there in northern Canada fishing or something. I don't know. But anyway, if anyone other supporters out there would like to join the two of us, because I don't know if you read the articles, I kind of read them, but you know, I always rely on other people to bounce off of.
I tried to.
Tried to, yeah. I mean, I flipped through them. This is why I don't use a lot of browser extensions. Let's see. But we got Steve's on. Hello, peoples. Greetings, Steve. How's it going? Thomas Holt's on. How are I and the kitty? I am doing just fine. Oh, poor kitty. Oh, he gets to sleep. Oh, now he's rolling around and doing cute stuff. Oh, man. Pizza will not be able to join the stream. He bought a new computer and their Windows downloaded all the bandwidth to do all the downloads, and they did videos and stuff like that. And thanks to data caps, you know. Oh, well. Pizza. Anyway. Gnostic, how's it going there? Let's see. Cyan Wasterstoff, how's it going there? Class conflict. Yeah, I thought I pushed the stream button, and I've missed pushing the stream button. Actually, I think I pushed the preview button, and then I pushed the audio button, and then we had to switch from Chromium over to Firefox because my Chromium was lagging. So, and then I looked up, and I wasn't streaming yet. But anyway, we got there. Michelangelo, greetings. I love your work. Lemler, how's it going there? It's only the fences we put in front of ourselves. Yes. Okay. So, how's it going there, Ben?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Oh, not too bad. I am almost back to normal life around here. I am taking care of a friend's dog, which basically means I have to drive out there about 15 minutes away, like multiple times a day. So I'm not getting as much done as I usually would be doing, but I'm still, I'm getting there. I just kind of suspended my writing for the week, but hey, we just pushed out a new book. I just pushed out Happy Holidays audiobook. Should be rolled out everywhere now. Actually, in a record time, complete record time, it is already available up on Audible. So I will go ahead and drop the link in there. Anybody interested in that book? This is my book on holidays, the origin of the holidays. So that's in the comments there, but that one already went out. Usually it takes about a month for the books to get up on Audible. I pushed out right before I went to camp last week, and so that, you know, at least a week of it would be just while I'm at camp, and it's already out. So cool. That's awesome. So, and other than that, yeah. So, with that being said, shall we go ahead and jump into our basic topic here?
Sure.
All right. So what we're going to be talking about is there is this nice little article came out, and I pulled out two articles from Ars. There are embedded in the Ars articles. I think they are the primary source. But what happened is there was this kind of, it's not quite a leak, it's not quite a hack, it's just this is just happening, that they gave a name of Dataspii, that's Data S-P-I-I, for all of the various different things that was being collected. So that is what we're going to talk about. Now, I don't personally use browser extensions under most circumstances. And I know a lot of people want to use an ad blockers or uBlock Origin, things like that. I have a couple extensions that I use to make my life on web design easier, but as far as my other non-work, non-web design computers, I don't run browser extensions. What's your thoughts on browser extensions? Do you run any? Which ones?
I normally don't run any. I will occasionally run H.264ify if I've got a system that doesn't have H.265 hardware decoding.
Okay. right.
But other than that,
So none of the ones on this list, or did you look at the list? I think they gave us a list.
no,
somewhere.
yeah, there's a list. I think they listed 8 of them, but no, I've never heard of any of these.
Yeah, but I guess they did have over 4 million total users, so it's not nothing to, I mean, that's fairly small in the scope of web design, like, or not web design, web browser installation usage. But still, 4 million is not anything to shake your head at. Your popular ones, HTTPS everywhere, uBlock Origin, things like that, are probably going to be deemed as safe. But what it appears is going on is these have basically that you install the extension and it's installed in a sleeper mode. So for several weeks, nothing happens. So if you install it and you're one of these security guys, you're like, well, I know how to use Wireshark, etc. And so I'm going to install the browser, the extension, and then you watch it and you go, oh, yeah, nothing. Watch the thing for a week, nothing's going on. Well, these guys are getting hip to this, and so after about 3 weeks, they said the thing would do an automatic update. There's another reason I don't like automatic updates. So then it runs another automatic update, and that second automatic update downloads a minified JavaScript code that starts uploading everything you go to on the internet and every page in list forms up into a central server. And that's kind of the problem. So initial thoughts on this one. What do you think?
I mean, normally, extensions for web browsers are probably not seen as the security vulnerability they could be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit worse than what you said, because it wasn't just the pages you went to, it was all links on every page.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, they were talking about being able to figure out internal corporate intranets and all kinds of things from the links displayed in the pages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, let me explain why this is such a big deal. Obviously, seeing what pages you're viewing on your favorite news channel is not a huge deal. They're all public links. However, there are these things that are called tokenized links. Now, some tokenized links are not necessarily bad. So like on Nextcloud, if I wanted to create a document and share that, I could create it with a non-password protected tokenized link. Anybody that could get that URL can actually get in there and grab that file or see that file, or if I have it set up right, edit that file. Now, if I'm just creating that and sending that out to somebody, no big deal. The problem is what these browsers were doing is they were harvesting these things and selling it up to a company called Nacho Analytics. And that's not Joe Analytics. That's Nacho Analytics. Now, what this company would do is they would make all of this information effectively publicly available so that any other analytics firms could go through there and search for this. Now, where this became a problem is it's one thing if I share documents with these tokenized things, but guess who else uses these types of things? Medical uses these types of things. Even the last time I did taxes, because I didn't know it at the time, but my accountant was transitioning into a partner, and rather than me dropping off documents, they wanted them uploaded to the internet. And of course, despite the page being HTTPS, the way they make these pages, they want to make it as easy as possible. And so as long as somebody had that individual private link, anybody could get in there and see what was in there. They were not password protected. And so I had to upload my tax documents on that system that was not password protected, that was a token-based URL. Well, that token-based URL is now vulnerable, and anybody could get in there and see that information. So you better believe that next time I go to do my taxes, if they can't have paper dropped off to them, they're going to lose me as a customer. There's too many other accountants that I could work with. So that's are you familiar with any of those types of tokenized based systems?
Yeah, a little bit. What's kind of shocking about that too is those links are shown to other people, and through no fault of yours.
Mm-hmm.
So those could be scraped up on someone else's browser that you don't have control of that machine.
Yeah.
Or, in a corporate setting, that's going to expose files that some user might not normally have permission to get at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
well, so long as they have access to the analytics data. But.
Correct. Yeah. So here in the article, we have, is that STS? Hey, Mark, how's it going? We don't see you yet, but we see you jumped on. All right. So here it says home and business surveillance videos hosted on Nest and other security services. So that would be your Nest videos. So, I got this nice, easy tokenized URL that I can get in there and view my cameras. Yeah, now so can the rest of the world. I hope that you're not using your Nest camera to watch your baby. You'll have some nasty people on the internet watching your baby sleep. That's kind of crazy. We got tax returns, billing invoices, business documents, presentation slides, hosted on Microsoft OneDrive, Intuit, and other online services. And again, some of these are fairly benign. Some of them are extraordinarily not benign. VIN numbers of recently purchased automobiles, along with the names and addresses of the buyers. Great. Patient names, the doctors they visited, and other details listed by Dr. Chrono. I wish one of our... oh, man. Brian, where are you, Brian? We need you, Brian. I want to know what Dr. Chrono is. I have no idea. Do you know what Dr. Chrono is?
No idea.
Should we look up Dr. Chrono? All right, let's look up Dr. Chrono, because that sounds... it sounds like...
It sounds like a villain.
Yeah, I was going to say a super villain or something else. All right. So Dr. Chrono, it's an EHR practice management tool. Oh, great. Practice medicine, not administration. So basically, they're using the same tokenized things. Now, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the tokenized issues, weren't these the way that Yahoo was hacked into, or was I mistaken?
I don't know enough about that.
Okay. So anyway, if your doctor's office happens to be using Dr. Chrono and you have a person there who's, and we all know that the people at the doctor's office are just the computer experts extraordinaire, right? They know exactly what they're doing. They would never click on a weird link in an email. They would never install a browser extension. So if your doctor's office uses Dr. Chrono, it's very possible that all of your information was leaked out to these companies. That's exciting. Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Hey.
Contractors go away now.
Yeah, he finally left.
All right. Travel itineraries posted on Priceline, Booking.com, and airline websites. Facebook Messenger attachments and Facebook photos. Even when the photos were set to private, you could still grab them. Ooh. Oh, boy. All right, what are you guys' thoughts? Dan, any thoughts? Now that you just jumped in? Not sure if you caught all of this or not yet.
No, I did read some of the article. I think it's pretty shaky. You can't trust anything anymore. You can't even trust apps in your phone without the fear of them spying on you.
Yeah, and that's a big news this week in the was it the Face app, whatever it is, that new app I'll be talking about on the Friday news. So
I can't get my camera at work.
Yeah.
Sorry, you have to do without my face.
Yeah, that's fine. Mark, are you there? We can't hear you if you are. All right, Ben, anything else to add?
No, I'm just going to add that, especially with that medical records, with a great many things running just as web apps now, those tokenized logins and every link is going to get exposed through something like that, that extension. Although those are, we'll get to that later, but those have since been removed. But
yeah. All right. Now, here's some analytics data. I'm trying to remember what was the deal with the analytics data that they had, or is this? I can't remember what the deal with that is. So basically what was happening is it raised this question: how did all this information get onto Nacho Analytics? And these, let's see, these guys here are a few of the browser extensions. Fairshow Unlock is a Chrome extension for accessing premium content for free. Well, that doesn't sound shaky.
Hover zoom.
Yeah. Hover Zoom for enlarging images. Speak It, text to speak for Chrome. We have Panel Measurement, Chrome extension for finding market research surveys. So it almost looks like they're targeting either elderly or business. Or both.
It's
old business.
It says here in the article some of the known businesses have been targeted and information is leaked out of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so here's where it all went down to. So, of course, a lot of this, the privacy policies that you agreed to, whether or not you read it or not, basically all said that they can collect URLs, any other information, they can share it with third parties, all that kind of stuff. So there's Fair Share, what's this one here? Hover Zoom. See, like, read and change all data on the websites you visit, read and change your browser history, display notifications. For a web browser picture enlarger, I would expect those types of things. But the thing is that all of these, it's kind of like they're grabbing the data you'd almost expect because, you're getting something that's going to read a web page. Of course, it has to read access on your web page. But what you didn't necessarily know is what they were doing it. Now, what happened in the more advanced part here, when they kind of dug into what's going on, the mechanism. Any other comments before we dive into the mechanism of how this all happened? And then we'll hit comments, and then we'll go back and look at the mechanism. Okay, let's have a look at our comments. Used to laugh at data caps. I still do. Yeah, I'm in the state where Comcast is from, so I'm not sure that I'll hit the data caps. At least not anytime soon. But who knows? Chat are not in sync on your end. They should be in sync. Let's see. Oh well, the chat. Yeah, the chat. I control the chat. See, I control the chat. Let's see. Hello, CJ. How's it going there? How do I send you insider info? Well, if you want to send me information, use the contact form on switchedtolinux.com. All right. Do you guys know what a Linux, Ubuntu or Linux in general alternative control center to control fan behavior and testing? Dan, didn't you do a little bit with that?
What?
Fan control. Do you use anything else for more advanced fan control stuff, or is that Joe?
I really don't need to use any advanced fan control. I pretty much got all of my stuff on the smallest speeds they can run, or they're unplugged.
Okay.
I don't have an overheating issue.
I just run mine through the BIOS.
Okay.
Yeah, some of them have that option.
Yeah, on most motherboards, well, modern motherboards, you can set the fan curves in the BIOS.
Yeah.
If you have a pricey case, them also come with switches on the front of them. You can tap to change the speed from slow, medium to high.
Although the one addition I'll have there is if you're specifically talking about an NVIDIA graphics card, you can control that directly from NVIDIA Control Center.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think I heard you, Mark. You there?
Did you really?
Hey, I can hear you, Mark. How's it going?
About time. I had to exit out of Hangouts and come back in. I'm just going to leave. Can you hear me crystal clear? Everything's loud enough and not too loud? Okay.
We sound good.
Sound good, Mark.
Thank you. I've worked on it trying to get it just right, so hopefully I can save that as a preset for later somehow, or get other software to do it and just pay for it. But I was gonna say about the VIN numbers, that you have on like different things that you purchase at the store. They're like printing digitally the VIN numbers on. They don't hardly use any labels anymore. Everything's just kind of printed on, and I think it's very interesting how they pull all that together and identify a device to a customer, and also very scary in a way, like you say. I just think the convenience factor of it for businesses to be able to pin down somebody is too much of a benefit from them on their business end, and they don't care enough about privacy and security to do anything about that. So I don't know, if you don't care, just tell me that you don't care about privacy and security. Don't tell me one thing and do another. You know what I mean? But that's common practice. That's industry standard, so that's not going away. But what problems does that pose? It's like you were talking about in one of your previous videos about the AI. Well, now you can identify a photo on the internet, and it can tell you the name of the person, their age, their ethnicity, everything about them. I don't know. Just kind of what are some problems that could arise from that? Maybe possible misarrest from police or something. People could be fingered for a crime.
That's possible.
The more data they scoop up on you, like, and this was a big thing that came up. We talked about in the news not too long ago, where some guy happened to be taking a walk or something in the vicinity of when a crime was. He didn't even know the crime had occurred, and the police were trying to do, they were pulling phone location records from every phone in the area, and they picked the guy up. He didn't have an alibi because he was just out taking a walk. Now they look at him as being the guiltiest guy because he just happened to be in the vicinity of where a crime had occurred. And that causes a big problem, So it raises these serious questions of, how much data collection is too much? I mean, I think anything above and beyond what I say I want you to do or what is reasonably expected for a service I'm asking you to provide is probably too much. That's my personal thought.
Legitimate business purposes, I have no issue with that.
Yeah,
I don't even mind, like, if it's a company I've done business with for years and they want to put my photo up and say this is one of their most valued clients. I don't mind that at all, but like, it gets to a point. Everybody has to draw a line in the sand for themselves. Everybody has to dig out a trench, and for some, it's a little further out than others. My line in the sand is probably quite a bit further out than yours, Tom. But Dan's might be more shallow than mine, or what have you. And I think as consumers, there should be laws in place to protect our rights as far as rights to privacy. And when we conduct business and we make a purchase, we should be told, we should be informed of how our information is being used. The GDPR has helped a lot with that. But I just feel like we should have rights, and there should be laws in place to protect us, to where companies just can't do anything and everything with our data without telling us anything, because that's just way too far.
Yeah, and they need to make that front and center, not obscured. So it was kind of it was kind of like I stopped doing business with this bank not too long ago because they changed policies that that really benefited customers. They would try and market anything and everything to you, but anything that benefited just them, it was legally disclosed on their website, 30 pages deep somewhere in the footer text.
And
so where this came from is it came to the point where every single time I walked into that bank to deposit something or whatever else, I'm trying not to be, inappropriate here, but some moron would call me on the phone. Ooh, how was your experience at the bank? It's like, dude, I finally started swearing at him and hanging up. It's just like, because I walked in the bank every single time I walked into your bank, you call me on the phone. Ooh, how's your experience? I'm like, dude, and I was like, What are you doing?
At that point, it's harassment.
But right in that same period of time they were doing that, they changed their ATM where you used to go in, be able to deposit a check, and used to be able to withdraw $100 off of that check, no matter what's in your account or not. They completely did away with that without telling anybody, exclusively because they wanted to upsell you. Your typical, you could deposit it and no funds were available. But for 2% of your deposit, you could take any of that money out of the bank now. Like, really? Walmart charges me 1% to cash my check. If I need my money immediately, it's now more worth my time to go to Walmart than it is to go to my bank. And that is when we have a bad society. So I go into the bank and I said, look, you guys are harassing me. Every single time I visit your bank, someone on the phone is calling me. It's a radical disagreement. I am completely annoyed by this. Why are you doing this? Oh, we're just trying to help figure out what helps. I said, here's the thing. You lost a customer because of that pushiness. I said,
you're not listening to what helps.
I said, but when did you take that out? Because I read every statement and you never announced that anywhere. Oh, that was on our website. Where? Oh, I don't know. Somewhere on our website. It was legally displayed. Well, that's the type of bank I'm not doing business with. So see you later. You know.
I could tell you a horror story, but I won't get into that.
Yeah. All right.
BB&T screwed me over so bad.
So CJ, CJ, maybe I'll have to get you on sometime for one of these to talk about your thoughts on this, because I know CJ used to work in like the paramedical type stuff. So any of you guys included have ever used EHR for your own healthcare management yet? If it's this Dr. Kronos I'm looking at, not a chance under the sun would I use anything like this crap. I don't want my phone and my iPad and my computer and all these little things over there doing all these connections. No. Am I missing something, CJ? Let me know. Am I missing something? Oh boy. All right. Let's see. Doctor went to Johns Hopkins and is a computer nerd. All right. See, that's good. I feel a little bit better with a doctor who's a computer nerd with stuff, but you know. We don't have control of the idiots leaking our stuff. Yes. And that's, I mean, because I'm looking at this Dr. Chrono and it says EHR is the tab name. So, oh boy, I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm reading this article and makes me wonder how many other things that we install in our devices every day that may be bugged that we don't know about, and some Samaritan hasn't gone out to investigate it.
Yeah.
You know, it's terrible. I come from the 70s and the 80s. We didn't have this junk back then. Life was much more fun. No computers, no cell phones. The best thing you got was an answering machine for the wired phone. Cars were a lot cooler looking. It was just an all-around better time without people trying to steal your personal information. I mean, people wouldn't even mess with your mailbox.
I agree with you, Dan. That's why sometimes I feel like I was born in the wrong century.
Yeah.
At times, I mean, really.
Yeah. My bank. Oh, go ahead.
I'm an old school mentality, you know, and it's like my grandma and grandpa said, you know, you just don't put anything just out there on the internet willy-nilly.
Yeah. And that's how, for you young guys watching, that's when the internet first came out. Like, I was the last generation, I think, that grew up without the internet. You know, we didn't even have internet in our schools until I think maybe my junior or senior year or something. I think it was maybe junior year. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was my senior year. We never got, because I remember in study hall in high school, we'd go in there and we'd be playing on the Paint application on the Mac on the library computer, man. If we had the internet, you better believe we would have been on the internet, you know?
Yeah.
But now, you know, and back at that day, it's like, man, you don't put your name out there. You don't put any information out there. I mean, the most crazy I got is I had a GeoCities account, and I actually had a real picture of me up there, but it was kind of hard to tell what I looked like, you know. And that was the internet back then.
I mean, but that's the way it was back then. The internet was full of a bunch of crazy people, and you didn't dare put anything real on it.
Well, it's still full of a bunch of crazy people, but we all put everything real on it.
I mean, that's the point, right? It's the same. It's the same crazy people that it's always been, but now it's okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
it's crazy.
they went from crazy to let's see how far we can push this.
Now the crazies get 10 minutes of fame, or they get 15 minutes of fame, and somebody shoot up a school, and they're the next.
I mean,
they treat them like a famous person, and I'm
yeah,
like,
or lick ice cream and put it back on the shelf.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of that crap. There's videos all across YouTube.
I'm just so happy I make
people
my
doing
own ice
stupid
cream.
stuff. Yeah. Homemade ice cream is wonderful.
Let's see. No, CJ, it's not Bank of America. It was the Nightmare Horror Story I had, but that's one I would anticipate. In fact, if I remember correctly, I saw some statistics that the two most hated banks in the country, I believe, are Bank of America and Wells Fargo.
I was going to say Wells.
Well, yeah, I know Wells Fargo. I think it's definitely... when you start creating millions and millions of fake accounts to bolster your own numbers, people tend to not like you. Bank of America, I think they're just crazy, but I don't know.
Well, Tom, if me and you were ever to do business like that, we would not be here. You would not have any money. If I was to ever do one of the stupid decisions they make and the things they do regular, wouldn't have no business. You can forget it. But they can do this shit all day long. I'm sorry. Excuse me. They can do this crap all day long and they get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's become the norm. But we don't do that crap. We don't run our business like that.
Yeah. All right. Mark gets the award for the second swear word on Switch to Linux. Techlore was number one.
I'm sorry. It just
That's all right.
Ticks me off. It gets on my nerves.
I get it.
It's
I try not to sometimes,
Yeah, you can work so hard and so long and do everything the right way, and these big mega corporations, it's hard enough to compete as it is, and when they're just doing every dirty trick in the book to data mine and get customers just wrapped around their little finger, how do you even compete with that? It's just, whenever somebody has, like an example, whenever somebody has to renew a service plan, I don't auto-renew anybody. I don't do any drafts from accounts. I could easily do that. I've built up the trust. I would rather call them and make sure that they're happy before I renew them. And I'll renew them if they say okay. But I will not just auto-renew people in the service plans.
Yeah. So CJ writes regarding the EHRs. If you're a person that you really need to go visit doctors a lot, this type of stuff does start to make a little bit of sense. As long as you limit these parties. Now, what you would do is make sure that whatever one of these platforms you're using to manage your stuff does not use tokenized URLs. Because tokenized URLs is what the problem is. And we'll get into a little bit more about this when we get to the more advanced thing. I'm still getting down to the bottom of the comments. Let's see. Visit one of the one sites. Okay. Can certainly limit the outside procedures like MRIs and CAT scans. In European Union, you have to sign an agreement before a company is allowed to use your personal data. Yeah, but even the businesses out there are caught doing it without those. Like even the government agencies. See those once government agencies had a data leak. Whoops.
Well, and
this GDPR stuff's harder to enforce than we thought.
Well, these apps were allegedly GDPR compliant too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you opt in by saying yes to that terms of service you get passed.
Yep. Let's see.
Yeah. That's the problem when you have 85-year-olds in Congress and in the European Union making decisions for stuff they have no idea how it works or they just don't understand.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's
It's a
go ahead and
major problem.
jump into a little bit more about how this works and what it's doing. So the second article, also from Ars Technica, and I could have gone and do the primary, find the original sources. I just usually grab these because they're generally more talking points. But this kind of explains how the security researcher figured out what was going on. So the first thing we need to say is it's collecting the tokenized URLs, which some of those are very benign. A lot of the things that you're doing on the internet are fairly benign and aren't specifically tracking. But when you get one of these medical ones or an accounting-based one or a banking-based one, they can glean a lot of information from these tokens. I mean, even Google uses these. So, like, I have a couple phone numbers attached to Google Voice, because it allows me to set up a business phone number, have it publicly available, but not actually be linked to my phone, which I can go in and I can set hours for it. When will it ring me? When will it not? Well, I'm getting, I haven't gotten a voicemail today. It's, somebody's like, it's a wrong number. But if I click right in and click the button, it will take me right to their page without having to log in, and I can grab the file. So if I had one of these browser extensions and I click this button in my email, it goes to a tokenized URL. This tokenized URL, somebody can get in there and now see what is my phone number, what is this message, and if this was a legitimate thing, now some third party would have the ability. And the problem is this Nacho Analytics was publicly listing all these URLs. So now it's a publicly searchable record of all of my private data. That is the part that gets creepy. So what was going on? Well, they were blocking people from knowing it was really doing this because the extensions would behave themselves for about 3 or 4 weeks. You install it, it behave itself, you can watch the network traffic, nothing was going on, but it's back there and it's just churning little stuff up. Churning. And then an auto update hits. Boom, sneak in an auto update. It does something that changes something in the function. Maybe it's that first auto update starts collecting or gathering the data, whatever it is, and then another update hits. That downloaded a minimized JavaScript, which made it difficult to find out what the script was actually doing. And then that thing was uploading to several different IP addresses. And he identified 5 of those IP addresses, and surprise, surprise, they were all IP addresses. Here's the list of them here. They are all IP addresses belonging to Contera. Contera is a major data analytics and ad company. In fact, even before I got into all this security and privacy, they were the ones that were irritating me, even back then, that they are the first thing that was ever blocked on my router systems is Contera. So that's who it was getting back to. So Contera.com is the thing. Let me see if this is actually blocked in my network. Oh, can't get to that site. I wonder why. So this is not going to work for me on my systems because I'm basically blocking these. So you can see that the log report is showing exactly what it is. So what this researcher did is he set up some URLs that nobody else would ever see, and he used them. He sent them from one account to another account with one of these browser extensions. And what he was able to find is that it was actually sending out the entirety of the URL and then getting out to Contera and then getting onto Nacho Analytics and becoming listed as publicly available URLs. That is crazy.
Yes. Block all the IPs in that range of IP addresses on your router.
Correct. So, yeah.
You have to worry about admin domains. Just block them at the IP.
That's your fix. Block them, block Contera. That's your best fix, is to have a host file that's going to be blocking a lot of these ad networks. Now, again, these are all extensions that not a ton of people know about them. It's not like the huge extensions, but I always have cautioned on this channel to always be aware of browser extensions. They are a potential security vulnerability.
Yes, you're right. And use less and less or none at all. There are things that I can offer services, expand on my stuff to help you secure yourself at the network layer.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing like something like I have a better Twitch TV app for Twitch.com or Twitch.tv. It's not like I can't just have the app, a separate app on a desktop app or something, and not run the extension and just, you can do things to not have to be so reliant on the extensions.
Mhm.
They auto update, and you have no control over what they do.
Yeah.
They won't tell you anything. Everything when you install it, it's in the background, so you don't see.
And I believe you can actually go in there and disable auto updating on browser extensions. I'm pretty sure you can.
That's good.
Then, of course, you have potentially out of date browser extensions. And,
but I would rather just not use them anymore, and I would like to cut down on mine, but like, I just need to figure out a way to get like desktop apps for what I'm using and not be so. I have an Amazon add-on for Opera that I used to do my online shopping. I try to use Newegg Business where it all possible for my own personal reasons, but like, I don't know that I could replace that add-on any other way. There are those certain add-ons that you really need to be creative and find ways to go about accomplishing what you want to accomplish. Like with that, for example, I would want to get the lowest price. So there should be ways that I could do like a custom search on Amazon and save that search when I know I'm going to need something specific. Or
that's probably the best way to do it is stick to browser and website shopping only. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Well, even there though, sorry.
Custom search would probably work for that. Go ahead, bud.
No.
I've talked too much.
No, I was just going to say, but if you're using all the extensions to save money, for instance, you've monetized, using them. You shouldn't have a whole bunch of extensions used like that with no purpose in mind.
Yeah. Which I do have a specific purpose, but I would rather not have the extensions. I would rather just find other creative ways to not have to rely on those extensions, because who knows what they're doing in the background. Yeah. What are they truly installing?
Well, and that's the thing. Like as I mentioned, I have one that I use for web design stuff because it makes a lot of the web design things better. What I found, I looked into the security of it, and it's like, oh man, it was a security nightmare. I was able to block all the stuff I was trying to do, but the thing is, you'd get in there and it'd be like literally harvesting about everything. Wouldn't surprise me if it was in one of these lists, but I knew it was doing that a long time ago, and I said, is it worth the potential risk for what it does? Absolutely. What does it do? It displays the IP address up in the toolbar without having to click extra buttons for it, which is huge because I'm always bouncing between live servers and dev servers. I got to see in a second what server I'm on. Yeah. That browser extension does goofy things in the background. So I looked at all the goofy things it does in the background and said, well, let's just block all that stuff, and I think it'll be all right. So I did. That's the thing. Let's see.
Now, I know a lot of people, what you were saying is absolutely right. A lot of people will just run extensions out of because of the convenience of it, and they'll have like a lot of, instead of having the desktop native apps, they will just do extensions, and they'll just have a mess of extensions.
And to kind of bring this full circle to Linux, this is why I don't like GNOME. I don't want to have a desktop that does the bare minimums, and then I have to install a bunch of third-party extensions to make it do the things that I want.
Yeah, I don't care for GNOME because I feel like if it's
if it's your thing, it's your thing. But that's
although admittedly with the GNOME extensions, you should be able to look at the code on them.
Correct. Yes.
Although that's completely dependent on you being willing to audit it.
And able to audit it. Not everybody's. I know. Not we're not all West Virginia coal workers. We don't all learn coding. You know?
Right.
Anyway, Crypto Man's on. Manjaro Deepin rocks. Yeah, Manjaro Deepin. Anna Rita, how's it going there? Hello. Keith Richardson, greetings there. Evil Step 10, hello there. So always block JavaScripts. I'm a fan of blocking JavaScripts. I'm becoming more of a fan of blocking JavaScripts every year. DT, how's it going there, Derek?
I noticed that too.
Greetings. Cryptocurrency, not yet concerned about security because I haven't invested relative into it. Not surprised. Yeah. Pretty much just started listing. Which extensions are affected by this? Let me see if I can find that list for you again. Where's my list?
Put that in the
I think it was on the
description,
other article,
too.
wasn't it? I think it was on the other article.
Fair share unlocked. Mainly that's a Chrome item.
There they are.
Speak it, hover zoom, panel measurement, save from the .NET helper. Brand survey, panel community survey. Stay away from them survey apps. They're pretty heavy and
Coupon
problems.
apps too, by the way. I have seen, believe it or not, I have seen more computer viruses and have cleaned more computer viruses off of people's computers because of coupon apps than I have anything else. The porn and the game sites, they got nothing on the coupon apps. Those things are like running malware.
I wouldn't trust Honey as far as I could throw it.
Yeah.
I tried it for about a day and got rid of it. It just doesn't, it worries me.
Contera and Nacho Analytics. I mean, I'd be a favor of just banning all these analytics companies, personally. Are ActiveX elements still a thing about vulnerabilities? I mean, yeah, any code is potentially going to have some vulnerabilities. Right. One less extension when Google Hangouts leaves. There you go. Okay, DT. I love links. I got 99 problems, so extension isn't one of them. Yep. Links can actually handle most of my browsing needs. Data collection is good because then they make more money. Yeah, there you go. Well, who's it good for? See, if they want to say, hey, give us your data. And by the way, oh, man, there are things that are starting to do this. In fact, there's one. It's not there. It's on one of these index cards here I have on my desk. Which index card are you? All right, this is one. This is one. I was watching, I don't know, I was watching one of those guys who's branded as a right-wing conservative guy. I don't remember which one. I don't watch a lot of them. But his literal ad sponsor thing is done by this company called Big Token, right? You know what Big Token is? Big Token is like that Facebook Sonara thing, right? It's like, you install our app, and we'll pay you to collect all of your data. Okay, I'm a little less concerned about that. If you're paying me money for all the money you're making on me, I'm probably okay with that. But, you know, keeping it for nothing, I don't know. Try Honey browser extension for shopping. What do you guys think? Mark, what was your overall thoughts? You said you tried it. Well, what was good? What was bad?
It worked. It was a little weird how it worked. I was scared. I just know from your previous streams, it just worried me because every time it would search the web and look for a better price, I'm like, I just have that thought in the back of my mind, what else is it doing? And I had it for like less than a day and I got rid of it because I just didn't trust it. I just don't trust. I've just built up something in me that just makes me trust things less and less after watching your channel for so many years, which I should.
Yeah.
So I just,
CJ
it works,
says,
but
yeah, CJ says Grammarly is definitely saving everything you write, as the old Ribbon did on the typewriter. This is one I'm because I'm a writer, this is one of these things I'm like, should I poke around at this just so when people ask me questions about it? One of the reasons I've generally stayed away from it is because they actually use the session replay stuff in all their websites and things. I'm just not into companies that are doing that.
Yeah, me neither. Session replay is not okay. That's where
all right. DT says, I switched to GNOME last night because folks on the live stream demanded it, so I installed it, and wow, I hate this thing. I'm with you.
GNOME, it's god-awful.
Yeah, I completely understand who it's for and for the people that want it, but Man, I am not a fan. I am not a fan of GNOME. I actually have GNOME, Deepin, and Cinnamon on my Arch system right here. I haven't been logged into GNOME for 2 months at least. Not a fan. Just not a fan of it. Cinnamon's what I usually go into. Deepin's nice, but it gets annoying after a while.
Yeah, Deepin's super nice and pretty, but like it's just too much. But I'm getting, the older I get, the more I prefer like minimalistic distros, and I've ran things like Arch Labs in the past. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Mm-hmm. I would find myself going to OpenBox and like I love Budgie. I love Budgie because it's like a somewhere in between, like it's modern, but it's not like so resource intensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Budgie is definitely one of my favorite desktops.
Budgie's GNOME done right.
Yeah.
It's a sensible way of doing GNOME.
DT says, GNOME is so stripped down and useless, I can't do anything with it. Which is the opposite thing usually. That's the thing. That's like, I want a system that I can easily use. I don't have to run everything because I like Cinnamon because it will work with the keyboard shortcuts. It works with the mouse easily. GNOME just doesn't work with a mouse quite as easily as other things could. And I like having both.
I can't get past the fact you got to click on this thing and it just throws up its icons and barfs them all over your screen.
Well, I mean, that's what Mac does, but,
Most people don't understand.
Yeah. People like that for some reason, though.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm okay with it. I'm fairly neutral towards that. Like, Plasma actually has one of those options as well. It doesn't work the exact same way, but it's pretty close. And I actually, on my Linux Mint KDE build, I actually have my main menu is still the dashboard launcher, but whichever one, the application launcher, the more menu-like one, the modernized menu-like one. But I do actually have the other one there because I like that for some things quickly. One
of those things I've noticed is no matter what desktop I'm running, I tend to theme it the exact same way. Whether it's Cinnamon, KDE, Windows 10, it doesn't... Like, I always end up with the application launcher and then the same 5 shortcuts on the taskbar.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Yeah. That's what I do.
I have one or two ways, and that's about all I do. I do basically the same thing.
Or like even tiling window managers, I set the bar up the same way it would have been in XFCE. So it's not really any change.
I dig the polybar, and I'm not ashamed to say that.
Oh, I like polybar.
I love it.
That's what I've got right here.
Yeah, cool.
What window manager are you running that on top of?
Well, this is when I was running Arch Labs. Right now, I'm getting ready to install Debian, but I've got Manjaro Budgie on the laptop, and then I've got, I'll probably run Debian like with OpenBox and maybe something on the desktop.
Any other final thoughts on the basic topic here? I think we kind of hit the bottom, what we were doing with it.
Okay, this guy has
OpenBox is what I was running with Arch.
Hold on, Mark. We're wrapping up the main topic first, and then
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's fine. Any other final comments on the main topic?
Well, this guy that actually discovered this and researched it, he said he put 30 or 60,000. I think it's $30,000. I can't find the line of his own money towards setting this up and actually using it to reveal all the spying going on from these add-ons. Did anybody ever bother to help reimburse him for them other than all these spyware companies like Megatrends and Symantec just saying, thank you for the information? Yeah, he spent $30,000 in personal expenses since the research is not tied to his responsibilities at hosting Duplex.
Well, I read that as equivalent expenses. As in, the hours he spent working on it could have been... But...
Yeah, I'm not seeing that particular line.
It says the new vocation has so far cost him nearly $30,000 in personal expenses since the research is not tied to blah blah blah.
Oh, it does.
So this guy's out $30,000 to save our butts.
Yeah. All for something I've been telling you for months.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have one last little bit about that. If we're going to change topics entirely.
Yeah.
I mean, what was kind of shocking was buried in that article. I have it copy pasted here. It was, it said that it was the Nacho Analytics, the CEO or whoever he was in charge over there, described the research done against them exposing the data collection as against their terms of service, when he was just using it for the way anybody else would have.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sorry, I never agreed to your terms of service, Nacho Analytics. Well, I mean, actually, to view that data, he might have been. It's kind of like, to use our service, you're not allowed to expose how we're breaking the law. Gotcha. The problem is there's no law about this yet, and that's what we need to do. All right, any other final stuff here? I think we're going to wrap up the public part of this here before too long, because I have another stream coming up in 1 hour at 9 o'clock.
Caliban Sciences says, color is bloat. Wow, I miss the old days of DOS.
Yeah.
I found that very comical. DistroTube loves his minimalist distros.
Yeah, and he's doing stuff with Gopher. So Gopher, / it's at distro.tube. If you want to see his web experience, you need a browser that can view Gopher. So go check out his site over there. Which browsers support Gopher out of the box? I know you did a video on that. I just can't remember. Out of the box there.
I thought he did it from the command line.
He did go over some browsers. I remember in that video. I thought it was a while ago. Oh, you heard I'm wrapping up, Kitty, and you're like, don't forget me. Don't forget you. All right, we won't forget you. We'll make sure you get some food. Huh? Ow! Please don't step there, cat. That hurt. All
Dewey's good for certain things, and then not so much for other things.
Yeah, I have no camera because I'm on Debian 10.
You have no camera because you're on Debian 10? I'll have to.
It works with everything else except Hangouts. It works with Jitsi. It works with StreamYard.
That's probably some proprietary stuff. I bet if you installed Google Chrome, it would work just fine, but I wouldn't recommend it.
That's why I'm using Vivaldi and I have no camera.
Gopher, the best.
Chromium.
And Chromium can do Gopher with extensions. Oh, extensions! The things we're warning people against. No, those ones are probably fine extensions. But yes, links will outlive us. Yes, this is CJ the cat. CJ the cat. Mm-hmm. He's up here because he's like, I'm going to get fed pretty soon. All right, guys, what are your final thoughts for the public view of this?
I would say for everybody, I would keep your extensions that you put in your browser to as minimal as you could possibly keep them. You don't need anything more than maybe a trusted theme and some protection added to it at best. Other than that, stay away from all these other gadgets that go in it. A browser is supposed to be usually made safe, unless it's from Google, from spying on you. And if you start adding junk to it, you start defeating its security purposes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
HTTPS everywhere and uBlock origin FTW.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would add to that just, beyond browser extensions, just software in general.
Yeah.
You ever see somebody's web browser with 30, the Ask bar and the Yahoo bar and the 30,000 other bars that taken up half the screen, and they ask you why it's running slow?
Yep. I've had a couple of those. Yeah, it takes a while to clean up all the adware and malware that leaves behind.
But just like even freeware and shareware is that's every bit as potentially malicious as any browser extension. It's just now things are done in a web browser,
Yep.
so that's a bigger target.
Yeah,
That's
and
a deep clean.
if you're using Windows, usually you get something that says, "Would you like to add the ask bar to your browser?" And then it's unchecked, and you have to check it so it doesn't do it.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's why Linux is great, because you can install stuff without getting bloatware put alongside of it. So, all right. Of course, my final thought here. 1 hour from now, I will be streaming on my other channel, looking at some books that were banned from Amazon for silly reasons. And I will paste the link in here to that stream. That's at 9 o'clock on my Christian channel. And we of course cannot.
Something.
There, that's better.
Feed in the Desk Panther.
Oh boy!
All right.
Yeah, you
I
don't-
thought that you guys could hear me and not the panelists when I was on the kitty cam view, but no, you can hear the panelists, but not me. That's it, kitty. That's it. You just get 2 because we're streaming again later. You just get 2. We're streaming again later. You have 2 more later.
I don't need to be sleepy. I ain't got no time for that.
Yep. All right. Linux is the greatest bloatware ever coded. Yeah, just Axe, Can an atheist visit your other channel? Absolutely, man. We have a lot of atheists over there. That's perfectly fine. Feel free to ask questions. All right. Of course, if you're an anti-theist, you may not like what I have to say, but that's okay. That's all right too, as long as you don't disturb people. So, all right. So I guess we are going to wrap up the public view of this one. So thanks for coming out along, guys. Either maybe late tonight, it might actually be tomorrow afternoon. I'll probably release the second Linux Mint, the comments on the 32-bit stuff that I recorded yesterday as part of the live stream. So I'll push that out sometime soon too. And we'll be back with the news tomorrow. And reminder, we will not be having a stream on Saturday. There may not even be a video on Saturday. Not sure yet. But we will talk to you guys later.
Later, Gator.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.